Hi guys, I'm just gonna do a review for pediatrics because we're gonna have an exam this Thursday. So I'm just gonna go briefly on the stages of development by the three juries. So we have Eric Erickson, we have Piaget, and we have the Kohlberg theory by Lawrence Kohlberg. So for Eric Erickson, again, there's a theory beyond adolescence, but again, we're just gonna go over it a bit. So for Erickson, for infancy, which is like 0 from birth to 1 year, it's going to be trust versus mistrust. And then early childhood would be next. From 1 year old to 3 year old, it's going to be autonomy versus shame and doubt. And the next one would be, it's kind of like challenging to memorize all of this, right? Because there's like numbers involved. But next one would be play age would be, or preschooler from 3 year old to 6 years old. And then it's gonna be initiative versus guilt under Erickson. And then school age kids would be from 7 years old to 11 years old. They're going to be under the industry versus inferiority, meaning if they're excelling in academics and they're doing good, it keeps them motivated. But if they struggle, right, so it's gonna kind of like put them down a bit and kind of like not really get motivated because like they're not performing well. Then after school age will be adolescents. From ages 12 years old to 18, so teenagers, and it's going to be identity versus confusion, role confusion. So that's why during this time when you're a teenager, right, and some of you might relate, you're trying to build your identity as a person, so you're exploring things. Again, if your parents or someone is trying to impose something on you instead of you being able to get the freedom that you want to be able to identify yourself or express yourself, then there's going to be a role confusion. So that's why it's identity versus confusion. Next one would be early adult. So these are, once you become 19 years old to 29. And the Erickson stage for this one is intimacy versus isolation, because during this time frame, you're exploring, deeper relationships. So that's why, most people get married at this time. They're finding intimate partner which they can actually build lasting relationship, and also versus isolation, because if you're not able to find someone you can that you can start with a relationship with, you're going to be isolated and alone, right? Because you're still trying to find the one for you. And after early adulthood, it's going to be middle age from 30 years old to 64 years old. So on this stage of life, it's going to be generativity versus stagnation. So I think on this stage, based on what I read, is people are trying to get more involved in the society, trying to prep the junior people, like the younger ones, to be able to be ready to replace their role. And then after that, stagnation, meaning they're not being able to help society, they're stagnated, right? So it's like they're not being productive. And then old age would be 65 years onwards. So they're going to be integrity versus despair. So integrity versus despair is when your grandparents, right, or old people, when you're talking to them, they want to share most of the time what happened during their lifetime, what are their accomplishments. And some people would take hours just to tell you the story of what they had. And sometimes it's funny, some of them might be you sometimes think is it true or did they just make it up? But again, it's just if they feel successful in life, of course they're gonna find happiness in it. So that's why it's integrity. And despair is if they were some regrets that happened in their lifetime, like example, they failed to do something, or they make mistakes and they kind of like regret it, and hopefully whatever they share. That's why like I wanted to be a nurse, because like when I was working in a nursing home, right? So these are like the people like I deal with every single day, and they kind of gave me like the insight of what needs to be done with your life and what not to be done. So that kind of helped me like make the right decisions a bit. Yeah, so those are the Erik Erikson stages, and then we're going to do Kohlberg's theory. So this one is more of a morality standpoint, because it's basically 3 stages: pre-conventional, conventional, and then post-conventional. But every stage has like subcategory. So in the pre-conventional stage, you can have a punishment and then obedience for one, and then the second one would be instrumental purpose orientation. So in this stage of morality, it's like basically a young kid, right? So, or a young person, and then so they're doing something because, you know, if you're doing good, you're gonna be rewarded. If you're doing bad, you're gonna be punished. So those are like the simple morality that they think of. And also instrument orientation, what's in it for them a bit. So that's why like instrument, like what they're doing like that. And then conventional is like being conforming to the society. So you're trying to observe what the people around you are doing. Are they against it or supportive of it? Because this one over here, A for conventional would be good boy, nice girl. So you're just being a good person because you're following the rules. And then law and order orientation, social rules and law. So one of the videos that I've seen is like it's a good example. It's like if you're an authority figure, right? For example, you're the professor or a police. You're basically, it's your job to actually maintain peace and order, right? So that's your morality. Like your purpose is to actually implement the peace and order in whatever area. Then the third stage for Kohlberg would be post-conventional. Over here, it's more the post-conventional is more higher level, kind of morality, right? So the social contract orientation is like over here, individual rights. So you're basically seeing more to the scenario than, you know, like the lower stages. And then the last one would be the universal ethical. So it was saying in our notes that not all people is able to reach that stage of morality, which even though we have rules in place, like contracts, like, hey, this is like, you can't be like cheating on the exam, or you can't kill somebody, but or steal something, right? So, but when there's a reason that what supersedes that and it's justifiable, then it somehow can validate, you know, like not really make it evil or wrong. So that's kind of like really more complex, kind of like morality. So again, those three. So we have pre-conventional, we have conventional, and then post-conventional. And the third theory of that we have is Piaget. So over here, it's only 4 stages for Piaget. So first stage would be sensory motor stage. If that's the beginning stage, right? So that would be from birth to 18 to 24 months of life. So the main thing over here is that they ask us to remember is object permanence. So around I think 6 months or 9 months. I forgot. I need to like double check that one. But in a 1 year old child, they should be able to realize that objects are permanent. So, example, like doing the peekaboo, right? So if someone's hiding something like a toy or whatever, and then the child can see it, the child would still like know that the object is there somewhere, like that they need to find it, and then it was because like even though like you hid the object, it's still there, it exists. The next stage for Piaget is pre-operational, so it's 2 to 7 years old, and this one is symbolic thought. So this one, the thing that they ask us to memorize in this one is the conservation. Let me see. All right, so conservation theory, that the one that they give you, like example, like you have a glass of water and then you fill like different containers, different shape containers, and then even though it's the same amount, the container with the thinner one it would look like there's more water in it, but there should be equal, right? It's just like a different container but the same amount of water. So that is the theory of conservation, like being able to realize that regardless of the shape of the container of the vessel, it's still the same amount of water or juice or whatever. And then the concrete operational stage of Piaget is from 7 years old to 11 years old, and this is more of a logical thought. So like during this time, it's like school age, right? So they're gonna be able to think more in the future, like what career you're gonna go to, career you're gonna pursue, and stuff like that. And then last would be formal operations. So this is going to be after 11, so like 11 or above, so adolescence and moving forward to adulthood. So this one is scientific reasoning, because they're able to understand more abstract stuff, like being able to be empathetic or like understand other people's point of view. So yeah. Alright guys, so those are like the recap of the theories. Again, thank you guys for watching.